Would you look at that, Billy Bones? Frame's off. Got this all set up over here just so I can do some nice priming and lizard skin the whole underside without the frame rails getting in the way, because it was really a freaking pain in the ass trying to clean everything up with the frame rails in there. So I just decided to take it all apart and work from there. I got a couple braces in there, just sort of holding it square a little bit. It shouldn't have moved much. It's not like we're chopping off the top or anything, but yeah. Also allows me to clean up this frame and paint all these areas where I've done work, the notches. And this is pretty dirty anyway, so might as well clean it up. Added a couple bolting flanges, etc. So that's that. We also got the Mustang IRS out here, and you can see that we washed this all off and scuffed it all up for paint. And you can see that this plate here actually started to rust, so I'm gonna use some Por 15 metal prep. It's in a spray jug, and metal prep that all up, brush it, make sure there's no loose rust on there, and then I can coat over it with the Por 15 Rust Preventative. Alright, so I'm out here, I got the frame out here on some old clothes hangers that we made out of some 1-inch pipe, and just used some elbows, threw them together with some casters, and this is what we use to hang and paint parts. So I got the frame here, and inside there's a bunch of dirt and shit, so I ended up cutting off the caps here and here, and I'm gonna blow them all out. Now you'd be surprised how much dirt is in these. Sometimes you find mouse nests. You can see in there, there's some mice nests. And I have a nozzle here that I bent. This actually has a push to connect for a different tube, so you could put a different longer tube on there and then bend it, and you can direct the air where you want it, like this. There's a ton of shit that comes out of this, and I'm just getting it clean so it don't hold moisture. You can see all this dirt in here, just getting blown around. 1/4-inch DOT air brake line, excuse me, which I'm stringing through the frame. I got holes about every foot in this frame, so I'm just stringing it through the holes, pushing it all this way, and then once I get it all pushed this way, I can vacuum it out, or vacuum out whatever doesn't fly out. There's been shit flying all over the place. Look at this. So making sure to wear a respirator, and it's probably gonna lighten this frame by like a pound. Hey, look at all this rat shit. Look at all that. That was all in the frame. It's gonna collect water, and that is how you get rust in one of these enclosed frames. Alright, so I'm out here prepping the frame with some Por 15. Started off with some cleaner degreaser, and then now I'm soaking it in the metal prep. So basically I just started with the cleaner degreaser, rinsed it off a couple times, degreased it a couple times, and now I have this metal prep sitting on the frame. So you can see the frame is still wet with the metal prep. I'm going around every 5 minutes or so and spraying this whole thing down. Notice I waited until this area was in the shade here so that the metal prep solution doesn't just evaporate off due to the sun. So I got that on there. If you look close, you can see it's starting to etch a little bit, and as it dries more, it'll etch more. But you don't want to let this stuff completely dry. So every few minutes between coats, I'm actually going with the spray nozzle here and just hitting it with a light mist just to keep it all wet and let it do its job. So that's that. I'll probably use about half a gallon of metal prep and about a half a gallon of cleaner degreaser, but it's worth it. Now you can notice there is some old paint still on here. This stuff didn't come off very easily, so that means it's adhered good, which means it's fine to paint over with Por 15. It is all scuffed up, and in some spots here you can see it's bare metal, and that is mostly what the metal prep is going to be used on. Now when you're spraying the Por 15 Rust Preventative, you usually want to use something to thin it out. I just use the Por 15 solvent. It's what it's made for, and I use probably about 10%. You probably can't tell, but there's actually frost on the gun here because between coats, I like to put this whole gun in my fridge and keep the paint from drying up, just because you need to have like an hour to 2 hours between coats. You can see how freaking glossy this is. Lays out super nice. Of course, the prep is really important. She's pretty dang glossy. So this is just the standard black rust preventative. So I'm going to do 2 or 3 coats, and then I'm going to top coat it with a semi-gloss black top coat. Now another thing when you're doing these surfaces, the first coat you're going to want to go from one side, and then the second coat you want to go from the opposite side. So when I was painting the underside, for example, I was on this side of the frame, the outside, and I painted this direction, so it sprayed this direction. Now when I do the second coat, I'm going to paint from the inside and spray the opposite direction so that it covers any surfaces that are facing this direction. So that's just a little tip. I'll make sure it covers all good, and that's that. So I hit her with 2 medium coats of Pour 15, and then I hit it with 1 medium to heavy coat of Rust-Oleum oil-based enamel over the top of it. Now I did all this again while it was still, if you could feel a little bit of drag on the paint. It was almost dried. It was about an hour and a half, but it's fairly humid out, and the Pour 15 stuff actually dries better in humidity. So now this stuff will actually dry as semi-gloss, and I think it'll look pretty nice. You can see this is where my transmission crossrunner bolts, and I actually had to take and tap out the holes. Now this is common with Pour 15 because, you know, usually you can just take your bolt and force it in with normal paint and it'll just clean it up. Well, Pour 15 dries so damn hard that you actually have to tap it out before the bolts will thread in without stripping them. 11:20 Friday night. Me and Pops are down here working the garage. What? Hey! Made some new storage spots, trying to make room for all and a bunch of new tools. It's a rag container. Fill it in through the top. You can pull them out through the bottom here. This was an old gas tank out of the donor truck for Wild Turkey. It'll work. Got this Summit low profile jack actually today, and I've had this problem where I actually have 4 jacks now. I use a lot of them. There's another one there, and these are always sitting around. So what I'm doing now, you can see this shelf, a whole bunch of stuff on it, and before the jacks wouldn't fit under there, but this low profile jack has allowed me to get a jack under there to lift this up, and now I'm building some spacers to space these legs up far enough so that I can slide these jacks in and save a bunch of space, because they used to sit out, and that's a lot of space that's lost. So now it all tucks in there all nice, and special thanks to that. It's already saving me some space. And another thing I like about this jack here, it's actually got a push pin. So this is just a push pin, so you can take the handle off, and it's pretty nice. So I went through and ordered a bunch of Speedway Motors parts for the car, and I did not realize how much stuff I had actually ordered. Holy sh! This is the most packages I've ever got from a company in one day. Look at that! There's 9 big old boxes there. Holy cats, man. So I'll just say Mom's gonna be spoiled with this one. Holy shit. Alright, you know it's a serious build when you have this many frickin' parts. I've never had this many parts for a single build in this garage, or probably in this garage at all. All this stuff over here, pretty much all new parts. All the exhaust is right in those boxes there. There's a new grill there from Chevs of the 40s. All sorts of stuff. Every single box in here is full of stuff. Bunch of stuff from AVS. All this stuff from Speedway. Lizard skin. Man, this is nuts. I don't even know what the heck I'm gonna do. I have no space, man. I'm gonna have to get creative. But I guess it's a good problem to have. Mom's gonna be spoiled, and she hasn't spent a single dime on any of this stuff. I've been working my ass off to try and get her to this stuff, and I really want her to be able to have a sweet ass car for very little money. Overall, pretty fucking badass.